and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about 10 daily habits that I do as a traditional housewife or a modern day homemaker, whatever you want to call it, but things that I do every single day that help me be more productive and that help our house to be somewhat put together every single day. So let's dive into the 10 daily things that I do to make sure this house looks good. Okay, so the first thing that I do every single morning is I wake up before the kids. Now, don't click away just yet. I know that is not what you wanted to hear, but let me explain. The number one reason for me is that I can be way happier when I wake up before the children, but also I really want to have my quiet time with Jesus. I want to spend time praying. I want to read my Bible. I want to have that specific time in the morning. And doing that with my children is just a lot harder for me because they will need my attention and I want to give them my undivided attention. So I cannot read the word and be there for my children at the same time. So what I decided to do is I wake up at 5 and I have my hour of quiet time. And then when the children wake up around 6:15-ish, which is when my husband will take a shower, that is when I will have time for the children. They come running into our room and I can just be there for them. I can help them find their socks or underwear or whatever they need. And instead of me being grumpy because they wake me up, I can actually be there. I did the one most important thing that I wanted to do, which is time with God. I did that already. So I can, from then on out, I can just spend time with my children and be there for them, which is my number one reason for doing that. And one of the books that actually helped me set up this routine in the morning is Miracle Morning. It is a really, really good book. I will put it in the description below, but it's a really good book if you want to know more about why it is important to have a morning routine and how everybody, literally everybody, can have a morning routine and can wake up earlier, because it doesn't have to be like 2 hours before the children wake up. It can actually be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever time you need to wake up. You can do that and just pick whatever works for you and slowly build it up if you want to. But really, waking up before the kids has helped me so much. So I would definitely recommend the book and try to implement that. Now, the next thing that I always do when I wake up, I get out of bed, and part of the Miracle Morning routine is you get out of bed and you immediately go to the bathroom and brush your teeth. It has been such a game changer. I cannot explain how amazing that has been, because you instantly wake up because of the freshness of the toothpaste. It has been really good. But because I'm already in the bathroom, I usually just keep doing what I'm doing in the bathroom, and I get dressed, I get my makeup done, I get my hair done, make sure that I'm put together, because if I don't do it in the morning, I usually will stay in my pajamas for way too long, and I hate being in my pajamas. It is not my favorite. And as soon as the children wake up, they usually need me, so I don't really have time to get dressed. And I really hate that feeling. So I want to make sure that I'm dressed first thing in the morning so that I can have time to actually do my Bible reading and prayer and all that. And then when the children wake up, I look decent. And I love that. So I get dressed every single day and I do it top to bottom. I do not wear shoes in the house, so that is not what I do. But other than that, I just make sure that I look put together. Now, the third thing that I do every single day is when I wake up, I have something to drink, because in the evening or while you're sleeping, your body loses a lot of its fluids, and it's really good to replenish everything that you lost during the night. So what I always do is I drink something in the morning. I love having a tea in the morning, but you can also drink water. A lot of people, like my husband, he just grabs a cup of water and he just chucks it in like 5 seconds. I cannot do that. I need to take my time, so I usually take a tea and I just sip away during my quiet time, and I will have my water in the morning. And during the day, I actually do love just having a bottle of water and just drinking from it whenever I feel like it, because if I'm not careful, I will drink only coffee because I just like the taste of coffee. And I really need to drink more water. So I have a big water bottle that I always keep around. So that is a great thing to do. make sure you always have water available so that you can take sips whenever you need to. Okay, so the next thing that I love to do is actually go upstairs. After my quiet time, I go back upstairs. The children are awake, and the first thing I do is I air out the bed. So I open up the sheets and I just let it air out. Oftentimes it stays like that the rest of the day, let's be honest. I usually don't really make my bed because I make sure that it just looks put together when I'm airing it out. If I want to, when I go upstairs, I will make my bed later at the day, but usually that doesn't happen. But just making sure that it can air out all the nastiness that happened during the night, any sweat or whatever. I just want to make sure that that all goes away. So I open it up, and if I want to make my bed, I will. But like I said, that usually doesn't happen. Then another thing that I do every single day is I usually, when the children are getting dressed, they get themselves ready, I will go upstairs and I put my load of laundry in for the day. I always do one load a day, and I actually made a video about my laundry system, which I will link in the cards up here. I never know where to point. I will link it up in the cards here, and I can also put it in the link down below. But I always do a load of laundry a day, and it really helps me to stay on top of things. We are with 5 people, so it can actually accumulate quite quickly. So I love to do just one load a day, make sure that I get that like washed, dried, folded, and put away all at the same day, and just make sure that that is done, because if I don't do it and I let it slip for 2 days, 1 or 2 days, I will have a huge laundry mountain, and I hate having a huge laundry mountain to do, and I will usually put it off. But having just one basket is actually fine, so that is what I usually do. But if you want to know more about my laundry routine, you can actually watch that video. But that is the next thing that I always do. I go upstairs, put a load of laundry in, and have that ticked off, so I can go back to the other things, which is every day I always have a running to-do list that is loaded with things that need to be done. Now, it doesn't mean that I have like a huge list of all the things that I want to do during the week. What I usually do is I just write down a bunch of things that I feel like need to get done, and then I will have a top 3 of things that I really need to get done during that day. And the other things are just extra. So for example, today, what I really needed to do was bake a cake, and I needed to go to the grocery store because we were out of milk, and I wanted to do my load of laundry. So those are 3 things that I really needed to get done today. And usually on that list, I also write down do schoolwork, because school is our top priority, but we actually have a week off. So that is not on my list today, but that is also something that I put on the list often, just to make sure that I have those 3 things that really need to get done at the top of my list, and all the other things are just bonuses. And if I get to them, it's great. If I don't get to them, that's also fine. I could do it another time. Another thing that I actually do every single day, or actually not me, but another thing that we do every single day, is our children will pick up their stuff after themselves, because I'm not a maid. My children can perfectly clean up after themselves. And we actually started implementing that from the age of around 1. And my son of 2 years old, my daughter is 4, and my other son is 7. They all pick up their own stuff. They know where it belongs. And that is something that we implemented very early on, because like I said, I'm not a maid, and I'm not going to pick up everything after them. They can perfectly clean it up themselves. So that is something that helps to keep our house look a lot more put together, because when they're done coloring, they can easily just close the lid from the coloring box and put it back in the closet. It doesn't have to be me all the time. So that is something that we do every day. And it's also for the dishes. When they're done eating, they pick up their plate and put it in the kitchen. And those are tiny habits that they actually do that will help me be more productive, because I don't have to do all those tiny things. Because they are helping out, it is actually a lot easier to stay on top of things. So if your children are not helping, start by letting them pick up their own toys and their own clutter, because it really does make such a difference, because it can take a lot of time if you are constantly picking up after your children. So make sure you let them get involved. Now, something else that I love to do every single day is do a speed clean of the entire living room before my husband gets home. I always do a vacuum every day at the end of the day and things like that, and I make sure the dishes are done. But what we do is my husband arrives around 4:45, so 4:45. And we usually set a timer around 4:30. And I will say, okay, kids, daddy's gonna be home in 15 minutes. So pick up everything that's on the floor and let's get this living room looking put together. We just set a timer, we make it fun, and the children will help out, and we just make sure that the entire home looks good. And the reason for it is because, number one, my husband loves coming home to a clean house, but I also love that after working an entire day, he is tired. I just want him to come home into a place that feels nice and safe and clean, and not a place where everything is cluttered. There's toys everywhere, there's dust everywhere. I just want him to come home to a clean house, and it actually blesses him a lot. Not just because my husband loves clean, but it is something that every husband will appreciate, I'm sure. Just having warm dishes on the table, having a clean house, things like that is something that every man actually appreciates. So if you don't do that already, I would highly recommend just you can literally do it in 5 or 10 minutes. If you get everybody involved, blast some fun music and say, okay, kids, 5 minutes, we're gonna make this house look spotless. And you'll be amazed at how quickly kids can do that when you have fun music and just 5 minutes when the timer will go off. So try it. It is super fun. My children really don't mind doing that every single day. And it's just a blessing to my husband, and I love doing that for him. So definitely recommend doing that. Now, with all the cleaning and picking up things and doing all the things, it is also really important to take breaks. Like I said, I love my coffee. So I really do take breaks during the day. When my children take a nap, I will take a break, or when they go outside, I take a break. And it doesn't have to be like an hour or 2 hours of just doing nothing. It can literally be sit down for 5 minutes, grab a book, read with the children, or have them read a book. You just grab a cup of coffee and you just enjoy some time just on the couch, not doing anything. It is really important to not be constantly on the go and to just take some time for yourself as well. Or maybe you want to go to the park and say, okay, kids, let's load up everything we want, get in the car or walk to the park and just have, 30 minutes at the park. You can read a book or you can drink tea, bring your coffee with you. They can play and you can actually have a little bit of a break from homemaking. And that is actually something that really helps you to stay happy and not burn out as easily, because oftentimes what you will see is women just keep going. They will constantly do all the things, and at the end of the day, they're just exhausted. They are burned out. They cannot wait for the kids to go to bed so they can go to bed. While when you actually take some 5 or 10 minute breaks during the day, it is a lot easier to stay on top of things and to be like the happy, present, intentional mom that you want to be. So take breaks. If you don't do that already, please take breaks because it will actually help you mentally, and it's just, you need it, okay? Then another thing that I have implemented, about 2 or 3 months ago, is never going to bed with a full sink. And it is not something I grew up with because my mother usually had the entire kitchen full of stuff. And in the morning you would just walk into a messy kitchen. So I'm kind of used to that. But I read it, and I think it was also Fly Lady, but I'm not exactly sure. But I just knew, okay, this is something that I want to implement because I wanted to bless him with a clean home when he comes home. I also felt like I wanted to bless myself with a clean kitchen in the morning, because when I wake up, like I said, I will go downstairs, I will grab a cup of tea, and I often had to put some things aside to be able to put my cup there and grab my cup of tea. While now I go to the kitchen is empty, I can just put my cup of tea there, I can fill it up, and it's just so much nicer to wake up to a clean kitchen. It will put you up for success, let me tell you. It is really, really nice. So it is actually super easy. If you have a dishwasher, even better. Unfortunately, I do not have one. So what I always do is, as soon as we are done with our dinner, I will do the dishes immediately, because I just find whenever I get to sit down after dinner, I have a really hard time to get up again and to start doing the dishes. Well, if I just go straight into the kitchen and do the dishes before sitting down, then it is a lot easier for me. So that is what I usually do. I never go to bed with a full sink anymore, and it just feels so good. And it makes you a lot more productive because in the evening, I can do whatever I want because I did all the housework. I can do some sewing, I can work, I can have a date night with my husband, I can watch TV if I want to. Whatever I want to do, I can do it because I did all the housework. And that is really nice. It's a great feeling to have. So if you're not cleaning up everything before you go to bed, I would highly recommend it because it will change your morning drastically. So definitely try that. And then another bonus tip, if you will. I recently heard something from Elizabeth Elliot, and she is one of the original homemakers. She is amazing. There's a lot of great things that she actually said, and she has some great books. But one thing that I read that she said is just do the next thing. And I really love that because a lot of times we will, as homemakers, we will get overwhelmed by all the things that are on our to-do list. We still want to clean the windows, and we need to wash the sheets, and we also need to put out the trash and make 3 meals a day, and all those things. It can quickly add up and become stressful or overwhelming. And if you think about the entire to-do list that you have, it can be so hard to start and do something. While when you just do the next thing, it is so much easier because you just have to think about one thing instead of the entire to-do list. So when you look at the example I just gave you from doing the dishes right after your evening, it is so much easier to, when you have dinner, the next thing you're doing is do the dishes. Instead of you had dinner, you sit at the couch and you're thinking, oh, what do I still need to do? Oh, I still need to do the dishes, and I also need to wipe the table, and I need to, I don't know, vacuum or whatever you want to do. If you think about all those things that you still need to do, it will quickly become overwhelming and you will just stress out on the couch because you still have so much to do. While when you think about it like this, you had dinner, you pick up all the things, put it in the dishwasher, or you clean the dishes. Okay, we did the dishes. Next thing, I will clean the table. Next thing, I will clean the floors. Hey, I'm done. And then you sit at the couch. It will feel so much easier in your mind, and you actually did the exact same tasks. But because it took way less brain space to think about just the next thing, it is so much easier. So that is what I wanted to bless you with as well. It's a bonus tip, if you will, but it is something that I absolutely love. So if you feel like you get overwhelmed easily, think about just the next thing and don't make a way too long to-do list. Stick to your 3 top priorities for the day, and then just think about, okay, what is the next thing that really needs to get done, and start from there. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you got some inspiration from it. And I would love to know, what are some daily habits that you do every single day as a homemaker? So let me know down below what your daily habits are. I would love to know. Now, if you want to know why I actually chose to be a traditional homemaker, I will also put that link up here in the iCards, and I will also put it in the description below, just to make sure that you can see the reason why I decided to be a homemaker full-time, because this is what I love, and I think this is a very important job. So anyway, I hope you loved today's video, and I would love to see you next time. If you are not subscribed yet, feel free to do that, and I will see you in my next video.